or Merkur is a automobile brand that was marketed by the Lincoln Mercury division of Ford Motor Company from 1985 to 1989. Drawing its name from the German word for Mercury, Merkur or Merkur was targeted at buyers of the European executive car market in North America, selling captive imports produced by the German division of Ford of Europe. Now, the Merkur in the States only came in two different options, which was a 3-door liftback and a 5-door liftback. The 3-door liftback was basically the Merkur XR4Ti. Now, the 5-door liftback was the Merkur Scorpio, which was actually a Ford Granada. When we're talking about the Ford Granada, we're talking about the UK version, which was the Mark III Granada, was the first European volume production model to have anti-lock brakes fitted as standard equipment on any car in the UK of the time. It was voted European Car of the Year in 1986. Came in many different engine options, just like any other car from the UK, but the Ford Sierra came in a 4-door saloon, a 5-door estate, a 5-door delivery van. Dude, they even made a pick-em-up truck. I mean, the only pick-em-up truck cars that we got over here was the Rancheros and the El Caminos. The Ford Sierra came in many engine options, 12 to be exact. Now, there's only two engines that we care about. Now, we care about the Cosworth engine that is in the Sierra RS500. And also, wait for it, South African Muscle XR8, a 302 V8 Sierra 4-door. The XR8 is fitted with a T5, while the Cosworth RS500 is fitted with a T45. Our turbo version got the T9. All the Merkurs and Sierras and Granadas all had independent suspension. You guys are looking at the screen like, yo dude, let's get on with it. How did it come to America? The Merkur XR4Ti was a version of the European Ford Sierra XR4i adapted to U.S. regulations. The XR4Ti project was campaigned by Ford Vice President Bob Lutz. Lutz spearheaded the plan to bring the version of the XR4i to North America to compete with the sporty luxury imports like BMW. Although the car will have to be modified to his instructions, nothing with the car can be compromised. The XR4 American version will be turbocharged, adding a T to its name while keeping the I to indicate fuel injection. The Sierra name was not used in North America as it was already being used by GMC. And also Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. It sounded similar, so they didn't want to play that game. The game that they did try to play was to sell this car to the American market, but they fell short. I mean, they even went to Good Morning America and tried to pitch it in different ways.
When we buy a new car, we're concerned with two things really. Will a car hold its value and luxury? The key word here is image.
The standard of luxury used to be the Cadillac and the Lincoln. Solid American technology, the right image. Well, they have better technology today, but for many people, the ultimate status symbols in America aren't American. Let's face it, it's chic to be European. Lots of models in Big Five luxury cars: Mercedes, BMW, Volvo, Audi, and Saab. Some Americans dream of owning one. In many cases, they hold their values better, so buyers can get more money back at trade-in time. Example, an 84 Mercedes 190E sells for about 75% of its original price today. Compare that to 64% for most American cars. That's why Ford went out looking for a better idea. Just might have it in the new Merkur Scorpio. In fact, Ford is so sure it's selling Merkurs with a guarantee. If the resale value falls below the Mercedes 190E, after 2 years and up to 4, Ford will write a check for the difference.
We feel confident to do it because of the quality of our car, the design of our cars, and the response we've gotten from consumers and the market value.
Linda White's responding, this unique guarantee is what sold her on a new Merkur. She liked her old Mercedes, but she's trading it in anyway.
And felt that any car that would be tied to a resale value on the Mercedes would be a good risk, especially for a first-year car.
Ford's betting this new Scorpio model will boost its image here at home. The ironic thing is the new Merkur is built completely in Germany. Now, does this make it a European car or an American car? It's really both.
Two cars in one, really.
Why is Ford taking this risk?
Well, they want that young market, Kathleen. They want the people that would buy BMWs and Porsches and Mercedes and even Hondas and Toyotas. They're going after that upscale, classy market.
Now, that was a partial endorsement by Ford, slightly, to get people to naturally woo them to the other side. But many people didn't buy into that. The reason why this car didn't work is because of... Now, you sit there and say, God dang, BST, another Kane reference? Yes. Look, 1980s, what was popping? Ronald Reagan was president during this time, the arms contract deal and all this, Oliver North, blah, blah, blah. You know the history. I'm sure you should know the history. Now, the majority of people who were making money at the time was people who had money, who lived in Bel Air and Calabasas and all of these places. But then in the hoods, because there's a lot of hoods, and there was a lot of people buying Mercedes-Benzes, BMWs, Volvos, Audis, Saabs. It was a big thing in the hood. So a lot of people were hood rich. So all the street pharmaceutical reps had these cars. This is what they were buying. Look at this video with Ice-T when he was a little bit younger with his first wife that he had that was better looking than Coco. The perception was that if you have these things, you get girls. The Merkur didn't have no perception of being a high-class automobile. Due to that, nobody in your surroundings, mine or yours, or even further and beyond, had this car in abundance. Like when you buy a Mustang 2 and it was a shitty-ass car, you bought it because it was cheap. Now, the perception was that you were broke by drug dealer standards. You were just an average civilian, everyday, regular Joe Schmo when you drive in one of those. You have a $16,000 car, which was the XR4Ti. That was the cost, which is $40,000 or $50,000 right about now. It would have been a little bit different because people look into your pockets more. Now, abroad, they use the same old philosophy that we used to use back in the day was race on Sunday, sell on Monday. They kept this philosophy going, but what they did versus what we did is that they kept their body style of car the same. We started to change our body style to suit whatever was going on. You can look at NASCAR, you can look at the 80s Trans Am series, which made cars look almost the same, but they're not quite the same. Instead of doing it like how the Australian touring cars have done, no, American didn't really know nothing about this car, so they were disconnected and they have no emotion to this new brand that just came out of the sky. Since the departure of the whole brand in 1989, we've been left with the 2.3 Lima Turbo. They put it in the goddamn Thunderbirds, they put them in the Cougars, and they put them in the daggone Mustang Civics. But my quick synopsis of this whole thing is that this car was actually a good car. It was done at the wrong time, or they had bad promotion. Really bad promotion. No one knew of the car. They didn't have the internet back then. They had to do strong promotion to really get this car brand off the ground. The Merkur badge was not great. Think about that. A symbol of some sort. And then people get drawn in by the symbol because it looks cool, and then you go forward from there. That's how I think that should have kind of went a little bit, along with better promotion and get some of the street dwellers to buy the goddamn car. Now, I know a little bit about the cars. Now, I know a few guys who had a lot of them. You know, street dwellers, block huggers of the time, they had a lot. It was very popular in the 90s. And the cars like the XR4Ti, the turbo issues because of the worn turbo and everything else, it idles erratically. But that's over some years. You know what I mean? It didn't do that from the jump, but after a while, because the soot, they didn't have an intercooler. Now, when it changed to an intercooler, it was a little bit better, but still you had to do a lot of maintenance on the turbo. The soot gets inside there and the plug. You got to make sure you have everything kind of correct. Now, the transmission, that T9 was garbage, but it worked for the Capri, but it did not work for this engine here. It was just a little loose. It didn't feel right. A lot of guys were grinding gears. I used to cuss them out. Didn't understand until I got older what was going on. Now with the Scorpio, that's the favorite Merkur of mine because it's big, it's huge. I wish it had a V8 in it. If it had a V8, it'd have been awesome. But it had that daggone V6 that I didn't like. That was in the Bronco too, which I didn't really care for. But it was okay. It rode so-so. The street pharmaceutical guys used to get robbed at the mechanics because they thought it was a foreign car. Your tune-up cost on this, well, it's going to cost you $500, and they just pay it, not knowing that it was basically a Ford engine. They used to get them on that. But the transmission was good. I think some of them came in stick, but the best part of the whole car, of the Scorpio, the rear seats recline. Sickening. But man, thank you guys for checking this episode of Build Something TV, man. I hope you guys were enlightened in some kind of way. Right now, I'm going to leave you with a video with my man Dick Johnson driving that Sierra and driving the Mustang Fox body. All right, and I'll see you guys on the next video. And I want to dedicate this video to my boy Daniel. He told me to make this video, and I was like, yo man, I'm going to make the video for you, brother. And I appreciate you for giving me that input. Drop some comments below and we'll talk about things that I missed, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that I missed on this car. But we'll see you on the next one. Later.
Fabulous job. Tommy Smith and the boys at Shell be happy about this lap that Dick Johnson is cutting at Mount Panorama. This could be the leader of the pack shortly as Johnson comes down to the final corner at the end of Subaru Straight. The checkered flag is out and Johnson takes the Shell Sierra across the line.
Very smooth, very precise.
2:12.89. There's no fox like an old fox, Dick.
But the grayer the hairs, I think the faster we go.
Johnson, and Johnson will split them, and so does Grice. Backing on the Jaguars, Walkinshaw made a blinder, but Alan missed the start completely. They head to the first turn, where Walkinshaw from Dick Johnson, they all...
Up two by Robbie Francevic, who slotted into third place in front of Alan Grice, and there you can see race cam through the front window of Dick Johnson's Mustang. On their way up towards the top of Mount Panorama, through Wilco Cutting. Really putting the burden up here. The Jaguars, the pair of them, you can see powering away up front. This is where they've got the legs.
Up to get now closer to the run to Robbie Francevic. Johnson has had the go by. We'll see who wins this one under brakes. Down on the inside, Dick's going to have a go, is he? To the left-hander. So Jim Richards takes Johnson.
And John Goss has slipped by Francevic, so it's Jaguar 1-2 again on the track at the moment. Look at this, Johnson on Mountain Straight, puts the boot in. Close enough to have a chat. Dick gives him the thumbs up and a big smile and says, okay, pal, your turn.
But he's got the inside run to the next corner, so Dick loses out on that one.
I've got you covered, Dick. Dick lets him go.
It handles that well. It's got tremendous mechanical grip. You can see the size of the tyres on it. It is an iconic car. It's a Dick Johnson car. But the best thing about it is as it was in its day, it's its handling, its braking characteristics. It's really, really nice car to drive. It just doesn't have enough power.